I need backup. I repeat, backup is needed on Tennessee.
While transporting journalists who have come to report on the war in South Sudan, Officer Sam Carlson is informed that armed men have attacked a village and are fleeing in her direction. After a few minutes, the armed bandits shoot at Sam's vehicle, killing the driver and forcing them to stop. Sam orders the journalists to get down, outsmarts the bandits to get their guards down, takes them out one by one, and, against all odds, manages to get the journalists out to safety. Sometime later, in London, business tycoon and CEO of the giant mining company, Hassine Mining, Eric Tanner, dies, and his funeral is attended by various company members and the media. His only daughter, 16-year-old Zoe Tanner, shows up late to the funeral with her bodyguard Adam, to the annoyance of her stepmother, Rima Hassine, who later tries to make sure Zoe is alright, but instead gets rebuffed by the annoyed teenager. The next day, Eric's lawyers show up at his mansion to discuss the deceased's will and shock Rima by revealing that Eric has left all of his shares of the giant company to Zoe, even though Hassine Mining was founded by Rima's family. Extremely annoyed, Rima declares that she will contest the will and, despite Zoe's resistance, orders Zoe to accompany her to Morocco so that she can help her complete the deal she has negotiated for phosphate mining in Zambia. Then, Rima orders the security team to find a new bodyguard for Zoe to look after her until she gets to Morocco, specifying that it has to be someone the teenager couldn't seduce, as she had her previous married guard, forcing him to resign. The security team forwards the post to look after and transport Zoe from London to Morocco for $10,000 to Sam, who reluctantly agrees to take the job as it's completely different from the job she normally does. On her flight to London, Sam studies Zoe's family history and learns that the teenager is troubled, has abandonment issues after her mother's suicide at a young age, has issues with drugs and alcohol, and is generally quite destructive. In London, Sam is met by her boss and ex-boyfriend, Connolly Sinclair, and is taken to the mansion to meet with the head of security, Alik, and is introduced to Zoe, who rudely welcomes her. Later, Sam accompanies Zoe to a local club where the teenager enjoys herself. After a few moments, Sam notices a man being too handsy with Zoe without her consent and subtly intervenes and rescues the young girl, gaining Zoe's respect. The next day, Sam accompanies Zoe to Morocco in a helicopter and gets her to the Hassine's fortified safe house. There, Alik informs the women that Rima will be held up at the phosphate mine for a couple of days and proceeds to get the teenager settled, while informing Sam that a car has been arranged to take her back to the airport as she has finished her part of the job. However, Zoe insists Sam should stay overnight at the safe house, citing she's been paid generously for it, which Sam nonchalantly agrees to, while Alik reluctantly accepts the new arrangement. The rest of the evening, Sam goes around the premises, checking out the positions of the cameras and possible entry points, and even goes to the control room to speak to Alik and get a better insight into the new security system before retiring for the night. In the wee hours of the night, the security system is breached from outside, and numerous armed men quietly enter before killing the Hassine security men and causing mayhem. Sam is awakened by the sounds, discreetly goes around to learn what's going on, and realizes that they are outnumbered. She quickly makes her way outside, calling for reinforcement from Alik through her radio, approaches the shutter doors of Zoe's room from outside, and tries to calm down the panicked girl and prepare her to escape through the door the moment the intruders open it from the other side. After barely managing to escape the nightmare at the safe house, the women are picked up by the police and driven into the city to be taken to the police station. However, Zoe overhears the cops talking about money in Arabic, realizes that the officers are corrupt, and informs Sam, who discreetly prepares to attack the men. Sam has the element of surprise on her side when she attacks the unsuspecting corrupt officers, and as a fight ensues between the men and Sam, Zoe shoots and kills one of the corrupt officers in self-defense before the women flee the car and rush to a conspicuous local motel. There, Zoe has a panic attack, hearing on the news that she's being sought out for the murder of a local policeman, until Sam calms her down and advises her to call Rima and ask for help. Zoe then calls Rima, but is dismayed to realize that her stepmother seems to be more concerned about the fallen stock shares the company has faced in light of the criminal investigation into Zoe, instead of Zoe's safety. Sam then calms Zoe down once again and orders her to follow her instructions, and as she goes out to get some supplies, she receives a text from Connolly informing her that despite his best efforts, the security company has cut her off, and now she is on her own. Elsewhere, Rima goes on TV to discuss her upcoming phosphate mining deal and is joined by Hassine Mining's rival, Sigong mining CEO, Wat Lee, and, due to Zoe's manslaughter charges, is bombarded with questions that cast doubt into the ethical integrity of her company, which further plummets the stock shares values of the company, and can potentially ruin the deal with the Zambian representatives. Rima then cruelly blasts her stepdaughter on national TV by asking her to give herself up and announcing that she's officially not the company's staff, before being asked by the Zambian company to increase her bid to stay in the running. Back at the motel, Sam returns and starts helping Zoe change her appearance so that they can make their way out of the hotel to travel and take the ferry to Spain with the help of Canali, who is on his way with their new passports. Moments later, Canali arrives with the passports and Sam is incredibly happy to see him until he brings up her kid and accuses her of staying on this dangerous job to protect the teenager, even after the contract is complete, in hopes of making up for the broken relationship she has with her daughter, which annoys Sam into slapping him and storming back into the motel room. Moments later, as Canali returns to Sam's room to apologize for his behavior, he is followed by suspicious men who shoot and kill him in front of Sam. However, before Sam can react, the men barge into the room, subdue her and Zoe, who is terrified out of her mind, and starts dragging the teenager outside, while Sam tells her to calm down and to fight back. Sam tries to come up with how best to proceed and decides to summon her courage to fight with her attacker, and, after an intense battle, manages to heroically kill the man with her hands still tied behind her. Sam then rushes outside to rescue Zoe, finds her fighting with one of the intruders inside a van, and helps her to choke and kill the man. Sam calms down the panicked teenager, steals the man's bag, and starts running away from the nightmare. The women get into town, buy a taxi from a local man, and start on their way out of the city to collect themselves and think of their next move. There, Sam finally mourns Canali's death before Zoe, out of desperation, suggests she should go to Rima so that she can ask for her help. The women head to Hassin mining headquarters and are flabbergasted to see Rima meeting with one of the suspicious men from the motel. As soon as the man leaves the premises, the women follow him to the loading docks, where he meets with his business partner and argues about the botched assassination attempt on Zoe and Sam. Sam leaves Zoe in the car and discreetly goes to spy on the suspicious man until he sneaks up on her from behind and attacks her. The two fight and fall into the water, where they continue the intense battle to outpower one another. After a few minutes of intense struggle, Sam manages to impale the man with a fishing hook, steals his wallet, and swims out of the water to safety. Then, as Sam and Zoe drive away from the area, they are shocked to learn from the man's wallet that he's a police officer, and to find Rima's login details to the safe house. Zoe then remembers that she can access Rima's phone from the control room in the safe house with the login details, and the women head there. Elsewhere, Rima goes to meet the Zambian representative, Kibali, to submit a higher bid and complete the deal, but is approached by Wat Lee in the elevator, who warns her to walk away from the deal and threatens her stepdaughter's safety otherwise. However, Rima collects herself, announces that she will do anything to uphold her late husband's legacy, and marches to the meeting. Meanwhile, Sam and Zoe get to the safe house and find it completely abandoned. There, Zoe finds a picture of a young girl among Sam's belongings and confronts her for lying about having a kid. Sam confesses that she had a daughter as a teenager and gave her up as she couldn't take care of her. She adds that the girl has managed to track her down and calls her, but that she hasn't found the courage to speak to her. The women then return their attention to the task at hand and head to the control room to access Rima's phone. After a couple of attempts, Zoe is touched to realize that the password for Rima's phone is her birthday, enters it, and logs in. Elsewhere, Rima gets the login notification on her phone, figures out where Zoe is, and storms out of the meeting with Kibali before closing the deal. At the safe house, Zoe and Sam lock themselves in the control room as several men and corrupt police officers arrive at the safe house looking to take them out. Rima arrives there a few minutes later by a helicopter, approaches the control room door from outside, and details that she's being blackmailed and that none of this is her doing. Then, one of Sigong's henchmen approaches Rima, chases her around, and starts attacking her until Zoe escapes from the control room to help her stepmother while locking Sam behind her. Zoe fights the man off her stepmother and tries to help her while Sam tries to unlock herself. After several attempts, Sam manages to escape and get to the women to help them successfully fight off the intruders, but gets shot in the wrist in the process. In the aftermath, the women are rescued by Rima's new security head, and as Sam bids farewell to a very grateful Zoe, she promises to call her daughter and reconnect with her. The end. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.